And there was one that I didn't agree with, which was sort of the dictatorship. Because that might come up on Friday. But I find JC very open to constructive ideas that were brought to him.
Yeah, Will Sutherland once went to JC to complain about the whole rank system and all these council meetings. They were unending. And JC just said, look, if you can figure out a better way to measure and give feedback about character to the students, I'm open to the idea. And that shut Sutherland up very quickly. It's like, yeah, you're right, all right, so we'll do what we can,
Well, I had a slightly similar one in that essentially with this, and we were talking about the rank system and the privileges and so on, we came to a view that some of the privileges were just completely crazy and served no useful purpose in what was meant to be an egalitarian society. So it didn't probably put me up to it. But anyhow, I went off to see JC. I said, look, there was a stupid one in Claremont that the sixth formers could walk through the front door and the fifth formers and below had to go down the steps to the side and come up through the sports room and all this sort of stuff. And there were a few other things as well. I went to JC and said, look, this is not a school that's 600 years old with traditions that have been passed down through the generations. It's a new school that should be modern in its thinking. And we've got some really quite sort of antiquated, tight behavioural patterns here. Would it not make more sense in the 20th century to get rid of some of this stuff and streamline the way the school runs? And I thought I was going to get sort of politely shot. But he heard me out and said, I think those are very good ideas. I'll get back to you. And he did. And he actually carried out the things that have been suggested. So that's not the dictator. That's the guy who's willing to listen and try and improve on what he hears. And
what I also hear is the idea that you put rules up and restrictions to see to test the teenager, in a sense, because most teenagers will test boundaries. And so maybe you put the boundary a little closer in to see if they will stand up to authority.
Yeah.
And so you probably did exactly what he needed.
I think I did a little too much standing up for authority. I think I lost my standard rank more times than anybody has ever done in the school previously.
Yeah, but you won it back each time, right?
I think they gave it to me in desperation in the hope that I might respond.
Oh, this is a great call.
Last year I kept on getting caught. I got away with a whole load of things for 4 years. And I think the last year they certainly had a crackdown on this guy. And as I say, they kept catching me doing all sorts of things. So I kept on getting demoted. They used to put your demotion tickets on the notice board outside the Belvedere dining room, which is where we had our assemblies. And they stayed there for months. And I think at one point I had 3 or 4 bits of paper all pinned together at the same time.
Oh, this is sort of like chopping off the head of the vanquished enemy and putting them on a pole just to warn all the others. This is what happens to traitors.
Well, I think you were meant to be ashamed, so I just thought it was quite funny.
That's right. Hey, get another pink slip. Right.
That's right, yeah. He's making a collection.
But
look, see, that's great. I will make sure I'm around 11 o'clock on Friday. And it would be fantastic to join in a conference call.
Terrific. Thanks so much for your time.
Okay, thank you for calling.
You bet.